Now, interesting, we've been looking forward to having our highest state government official to showcase as a main program. So we're honored today to have Governor Christine Gregoire here to review the just completed 2008 legislative session. It accomplishes its accomplishments and its shortfalls. Governor Chris Gregoire and her husband Mike have raised two talented grown daughters. Like me, Governor Gregoire has a teaching certificate and a law degree. Unlike me, she went on to become State Attorney General and our 22nd governor. So if you got any questions, have them ready again if there's time when she finishes her legislative review. Now, please extend a warm welcome to the governor of our state of Washington, Christine Gregoire.
Thank you, everyone. Well, thank you, John, very much, and congratulations to you folks for joining, and thanks for letting me come by today. My report card on the legislature is they came and they went, and there's not much blood left on the floor, so it's a good day as far as I am concerned. And by the way, as I walked in here today, I saw none other than Bob Watt. Now, I don't mean to say anything, but I thought you had retired. Are you flunking retirement, Bob? Good. I have lots of things I'd like you to be working on. It is an honor for me to be here before the largest and the fourth oldest Rotary Club. And I want to share a personal story with you which reminded me of your good work just last week. I hosted a breakfast at the Mansion for Boys and Girls Club. And these were all folks who throughout the state of Washington had been named in their particular area the Youth of the Year. And then from there we selected the ultimate Youth of the Year to go back to Washington, D.C. I wish y'all could have been there to hear the inspirational stories of these kids. If you heard the story today, you would rest assured that that child would never make it. And here they are, amazingly successful. And you sent one, so I know you know the kind of stories that are told. You sent Kelsey, if you will recall, with a very telling story of her personal trials and tribulations, and the results of which is a wonderful young lady who's got nothing but a wonderful future. So I know of your dedication to service to children. You have helped improve their health care, education. You've worked on workforce training. Your generosity of your time and your money has taken a global reach, helping people in Russia, in Japan, China, in North Korea, and to immigrant Ethiopian children in Israel. So as Rotarians, I know you get the fundamental value of the people of the state of Washington. And I want you to know that as governor, that's what gets me up and gets me to work every single day. I share those values, and I think as Washingtonians, we ought to be proud that that is the basis of what we feel about quality of life and what we want to leave to the next generation. Someone once said that the best social program that you can have in America is a good job. Well, I don't know how many of you know my beginnings, but I grew up in Auburn. Single mom. She was a short order cook at the Rainbow Cafe, if you've ever been there. She made the best pies that anybody's ever had. But we did live, when I was growing up, from paycheck to paycheck. So I know what it's like. My heart goes out to families across this nation today who are struggling mightily with the price of gas and going to the grocery store and seeing the increased price of groceries and worrying about whether they're going to have a job tomorrow. So we've understood that as a state, and we've been investing over the last several years to raise everybody up so that they can be successful in an economy that should offer no matter where you are in the state of Washington, an opportunity at a good family wage job. We, as Maria put it, we here, more than anybody in this country, know the value of foreign trade for our economy. And candidly, that's why we, rather than fighting globalization, as I have seen and heard around the country, we are embracing it, and we're saying, let's make it work for us. And in fact, it is. Washington businesses have worked hard to open up markets literally around the globe, but sometimes in those foreign markets, they need a little bit of help. And for example, they need some direct flights that might be opened up to them. They need some trade barriers that can be broken down. They need some marketing of Washington products. So that's why I've been on 5 trade missions in 10 countries. That's why we've been able to open up 5 new direct flights to Seattle around the globe. I can't tell you how important those goals were, and we have checked them off. And that's why we have gone to places where I've literally put on an apron and handed out Washington cherries and Washington French fries. But I tell you, it has been fun and it has been successful at the same time. Let me just give you one little tiny example. We went last summer to Mexico on a trade mission. We went there to a place, a manufacturing company, Grupo Modelo, makes some fine beers in Mexico, and you would be familiar with one of them if you like beer, Corona. Well, Pearson Packaging is a company in Spokane, Washington that came with us. And they walked away with a $2 million contract. And they'll be the first to tell you that in many foreign countries, they're able to do that because I physically sat at the table with them and vouched for how good a company they were. And in those countries, that is extremely important. So investing in Washington's economy and working together, we have doubled, literally doubled, the exports from Washington State around the globe in the last 3 years to last year a record $67 billion worth of Washington products seen everywhere around the globe. The other thing we've been trying to do is diversify the economy. There was a time in our past when we were reliant on maybe one sector, and now we have tried to diversify and literally around the state. We've got some great companies. We've got some great bases, whether it's agriculture and what's going on in the commodity markets today, aerospace, heavy manufacturing, software. But today you got to be nimble. You got to look for every opportunity for a new kind of 21st century economic development opportunity, and we've been doing that as well. One of the great things about our state is wherever you go, to China and President Hu Jintao, it doesn't matter, we are known. We are known for the finest quality products, and we are known for innovation around the globe. That is our international reputation. And so now we have embraced a new 21st century opportunity for us, which is global health. Led by the University of Washington and an amazing number of companies around this state, for-profit and not-for-profit, foundations as well, and we now are partnering around the globe to find cures to our most dreaded diseases, and with WSU Animal Health to also say that agriculture can be a part of good health around the globe. I think that is very exciting. And as Maria talked about it, one of the others, of course, is an investment. We're holding a national conference right now as we speak in Seattle. It was yesterday and today, seeing that Washington State can lead in the green economy. We can have green-collar jobs, and we can supply, and today we are, the scrubbers for the coal-fired plants in China that are being manufactured in our state and sold there to get some of the air quality improved there. The largest biodiesel refinery in the entire country cut ribbon in Hoquiam, Washington last summer. We have 350 employees and growing in making solar energy components in Moses Lake. And we now have the 3rd most productive wind energy farms in the United States. When you look at oil at $105 a barrel, green-collar jobs are not a dream. They are our future, but only if we continue to invest in them. Results that are happening are not by accident. We've really strategically met with many of you and said, how should we look at the opportunities of tomorrow? How do we retain the great business and industries that we have in our state and look at 21st century opportunities as well? We call that business plan Next Washington. One of the things that's fundamental to it, and one of the things that many of you in this room said to me when the legislature said, we're going to give you the award of the year in 2005 in July, they gave me the Department of Transportation. I've talked to my former governor friends who all say, how in the world did you ever get it? We asked for it. I said, I didn't ask for it. That's how I got it. Many of you made clear in 2005 that transportation infrastructure was key to our success here in the Puget Sound area. Water in eastern Washington, we have made amazing progress. Used to be that the federal government paid for 90% of our mega infrastructures in our country. Today, despite the hard work of our delegation and success, you really can't count on much over 2%, maybe 5%. The viaduct is the largest project of federal investment in the country at $200 million. That, my friends, means it's on us. So I've talked with other governors, most particularly just yesterday he was here, Governor Pawlenty of Minnesota. It is a challenge everywhere in this country. We have taken it up. We have launched our efforts. Voters ratified the legislative decision. It was difficult in 2005 to do the unheard of and raise the gas tax by 9.5 cents. But let me just tell you the difference. In 2004, we had finished 12 transportation projects. Now, in the last 3 years, 130. And in case we think they're small and minor, one of the 130 is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. So we are making the kind of progress we need to make. Landmark investments, and one of them, of course, is building 6 new ferries. In fact, it's been 30 years since we made that kind of investment to really design and construct 6 new ferries in the state of Washington. And we've been working on fundamental issues: safety, maintenance, and congestion. Those are the 3 priorities for the Department of Transportation. We're going to jumpstart the construction of the 520 bridge. I asked the department to find a way to make it happen sooner. This legislative session, the legislature got the job done. The folks on the west side, the community groups, got the job done. We know we're going to have to fund it by tolls, but I want you to know we are reducing now on paper. We can put it up, we believe, 4 years less time than what was originally planned, and in the process save up to $700 million. That's the kind of investments we should be making. And with regard to the viaduct, I am determined that you can join me, if you wish, with whatever instrument of your choice. It comes down in 2012. The south end will be done. The construction begins this year, and the south end, the most vulnerable part, will be done in 2011. The next Washington Business Plan also says we have to fundly invest in the most important thing that we can, and that is education. And in the last 3 years, half of all new money spent was on education, to make us not competitive with mediocrity around this country, but to make us competitive in the global marketplace where we really must compete. We have cut class sizes, and we have greatly beefed up the math and science instruction with more to come. We've opened up the doors to early childhood education in large part thanks to the work of Bob Watt. We are the talk of the country. We have increased teacher pay, and we have required greater investment in professional development. We have increased college enrollments and are offering more degrees in careers that are in high demand here in the state. And we have doubled the number of apprenticeships because we know that the trades are critical to supporting our economy. Those are the kind of investments we must make, not just for today, but well into tomorrow and thereafter if we want to keep the economy growing. We all know that government can be a barrier to business. And that's why we've worked hard to streamline permitting and hold government more accountable. Forbes and Fortune magazine this past year ranked Washington State among the top 5 best in the country to do business. Forbes particularly said one of Washington's big strengths is reduced red tape. With a highly educated workforce and a pro-business regulatory environment, Washington is poised to remain one of the best states to do business in and to climb even higher on next year's list. Our initiatives to hold state government accountable. I was there this morning at 7:30 talking about economic development with all of the state agency directors that deal in that area. We have worked hard to become more efficient, more effective. And the bottom line is the results are in. The Pew Research Center just recently ranked Washington State as one of the top 3 best managed states in the country. And I thank many of you in this room who helped when last year the legislature said, let's do something like some other states have done. Let's create a constitutionally protected rainy day fund. And then you went out and made it happen with ratification in the voting booth, and I want to thank you for that. That is important to us. It led to Wall Street upping our rating when it comes to bonds, which puts money right back into producing more schools at a more costly manner. Another key area of investment for us is in public safety. We fundamentally believe that if people can't go out and partake in their community, they're never going to want to have a business here. Businesses can't thrive. Families can't be safe and secure. People can't go shopping. We have invested now in some very unique efforts, and particularly this legislative session, which I give a grade A in this regard. We have unfortunately, but we have nonetheless stepped up to build 4,000 new prison beds, the largest construction in the history of the state. But we've also done some innovative things. A new community partnership with local law enforcement and community corrections. One, for example, in White Center, the return on that investment is clear. People now go out at night into the community, feeling safe. And guess what? The stores in the community are now open at night, when a year ago they were closed and barred. That's what we need to do for our families, their safety in their community, but that's what we need to do for local economic opportunities. Healthcare is another investment for us. When we came in, we were looking at cutting kids off healthcare. I can assure you kids can't learn if they're not healthy. And I can assure you it is a whole lot cheaper to the taxpayer to give them health insurance than to give them health care through an emergency room. We have added 84,000 children in coverage, well on our way to a goal of having all children in this state, low-income families, be able to say they have access to health care by 2010. Many of the businesses, many of the families in our state are concerned about the national economy. I am with you on that. Certainly, we are not immune from the U.S. economy, but I will tell you the fact is our economy today is more resilient than that which is going on around the rest of the country. You wouldn't know it if you looked at CNBC. I'm acutely aware of that. When you look at the bleak description of what's going on at the national level. But you know, and I know, that we have things going differently because of the investments that we have made. And I will tell you it was interesting to have a presentation by the financial writer for The Economist come out and talk to the folks in Tacoma just a couple of weeks ago for their economic development luncheon, in which that individual made it very clear Washington is different than most states. One, Washington understands the globe and how it can either be used against us or for us. And your efforts in imports and exports, said she, has made a real difference. And two, that we have really fundamentally diversified our economy. We can look forward to, I think, still some good economic indicators in our state. With Boeing, with $255 billion in opportunities still in sales there, a multi-year opportunity for them, a long pipeline of software and sales and contracts, a growth rate last year of 8%, which took us to 6.4 million people. They're coming here for jobs, and they need housing, which should help us in the long run, and of course our robust international trade. So where are we now? Well, just a month ago, nationally 63,000 jobs were lost. Washington State gained 3,500. Over the last 3 years, we have increased jobs by a total of almost 230,000 jobs. The median sales price for homes in our state, while down 7% since the second quarter of 2007, nonetheless, when you look nationally, it's about twice that much, and we're 49th in foreclosures. Our construction job growth has cooled, but nationally, the number of these jobs has fallen by 4 times as much. And although the weak dollar is bad news for those who want to travel, the fact of the matter, it has led us to a 25% increase in exports over last year, and literally a 100% increase from 2004 to the record that I mentioned of $67 billion. So the economic numbers nationally are not encouraging. They are for us. And in recent weeks, I know you've heard about our state budget as it was debated on the floor of the House and the Senate. And I'd like, if I could, to talk a little bit about that today. Some have said that we're spending too much and that we will face a deficit in a year. But let me just say, those same voices that have said that on the floor of the House and the Senate also said they liked where we were investing. They also said they recognized those investments were important. So I ask those critics, would they want us to take down the size of our classes and increase them again so that our kids are not getting the full opportunity to learn? Would they like us to cut back the enrollments at our colleges and universities at the very time when we've got a huge demand by business? Is there support to cut the number of kids who are getting health care coverage now who otherwise would be sick and potentially getting the health care at the emergency room? And how about those who are needing skilled jobs in the skilled trades? Would we want to cut those? To me, those are investments that any good business would do. If you want a future for your employees and you want a future for your state, you invest in that workforce so that it's healthy, it's educated, it's skilled, it's ready to go. That's what we've been doing. Next November, we'll do another budget. I can't tell you what the forecast will be. It's 3 forecasts away. And if the projections are correct, there may be a shortfall. But you know, we'll have to make tough choices then. We just will. When I came in 2005, we had a $2.2 billion shortfall. We made tough choices then. We managed our way through it. But we never gave up on investing in our greatest asset, our people, and the workforce of tomorrow. We attacked that deficit with good management practices. We prioritized spending, and we funded programs that will get us results, and when they weren't, we got rid of them. And we did it before, we can do it again, so candidly, I am not willing to cut back on the investments that we have made at this critical point in the economy of the state of Washington. We're doing what we need here in this state, diversifying our economy, embracing the globe and what it has to offer. We're embracing not only traditional business, but 21st century new opportunities. 30 states around the country are, as we speak today, in a deficit. 30 states. And I will tell you that some of them are pretty dramatic. My Republican counterpart in California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is facing a $16 billion shortfall, which is 15% of their budget. He is not alone. Other states are facing similarly. But what is missing from this picture is how do we get ourselves out of this very problem? And so I appreciate that Congress went to work with a stimulus package, and it will be forthcoming. But I will ask you whether you think that stimulus package is going to turn the national economy around, and I will question whether it is. Despite the fact in our state it's $2.5 billion, and it's 2.8 million households and families, and it's about $893 per family. I mean, that's a lot of money, but it's one time. It's one time. So I think what the country needs, and I've been working with our delegation who absolutely gets it. Maria is one example, Patty another. They both get, we need a second stimulus package, and so I am calling on the White House to lead us yet again in another stimulus package that puts America back to work. Not one check, but multiple checks so people can go out, get a good job, a family wage job. Today, I'm asking them to look at ready-to-go projects around the country. Ready-to-go projects in our state and virtually any state in the country. A stimulus package that will put folks not to work alone, but will build our infrastructure again. What are ready-to-go projects? Projects that have been through the permitting, have been through all that's necessary, and they're ready for construction. We have 156 water and sewer projects ready to go in Washington State, but no money. We have 29 statewide transportation projects ready to go with no money. These are fundamental infrastructure that can build the economy and put our folks back to work. The other thing we need as soon as possible is federal help to heal the real estate market. We in Washington have stepped up on both fronts. We had a home ownership task force. We provided additional funding for the Housing Trust Fund, but we need desperate help at the national level. The scale of the problem, though not necessarily in our state, suggests that we can't have one single answer. It's got to be multiple. The best outcome would be to avoid foreclosures and to stop the downward spiral. We need to turn that source of the problem around, the mortgage meltdown in the country. Federal proposals that encourage refinancing and at least partial recovery for lenders need to be part of the strategy. The point is there are tools available at the federal level that we simply don't have. We have to use those tools to turn this economy around. Otherwise, despite we've done all we can, we will be adversely impacted. A real stimulus package, in my opinion, also would support unemployment insurance and food stamp so that people who are without can actually get the benefit. Let me give you an example. While we've created 230,000 new jobs, in Ohio and in Michigan, they've lost 600,000 jobs. In communities around the country, there is literally no one left in a community. We have got to turn that around. So I'm ready to help the delegation. I'm ready to call on the White House and Congress to step up to a stimulus package that really works. Put America back to work. Make sure we invest in our infrastructure. Stop the hemorrhaging that we have in the housing market so we can get credit back and get out of the spiral and put America back economically to where it should be. I want to thank you again for the chance to be here today. I'm very proud to have worked with you and all that you have done. Government doesn't create jobs, it's you. It's you. And you've embraced globalization. You understand it's what Washington State's all about. You have helped diversify our economy, so we're making great progress in selling great wine in Walla Walla, Washington. We're doing solar in Moses Lake. We're doing all the great things in Puget Sound. There's economic opportunity throughout our state. So we've done it by working across the aisle. It's not about politics. We worked across the state to create one Washington. We worked across the country to create a great nation. And we worked across the globe to ensure that we are a part of tomorrow in the global marketplace. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Governor Gregoire. We're going to pass the questions, and if you have some, I'm sure she'll be happy to talk to you up here or wherever else you can catch her. I did want to just quickly do a recap because I'm pointing out to you we're talking about Seattle Forward. This is Showcase, Synergy, and Service, and I'm so pleased that today Governor Gregoire has come here to showcase the state of Washington. I'm especially pleased because I'm a native. And so that's very nice. And so thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate that. We've taken care of the city of Seattle. We've taken care of our region. And now we have the whole state. This was an observation about us, the economy, the legislature. It was a state of the state message. Okay, welcome again to all of our guests and visiting Rotarians. We thank Governor Gregoire and we thank Senator Cantwell for choosing this distinguished forum to speak. Next week, the Convention Center will hear about climate change from a 2007 Nobel Peace Prize winner, University of Arizona professor Jonathan Overpeck, Director of the Institute for the Study of the Planet Earth. And to make you more couth, you'll find out what to do with the sommelier and the wine list at your favorite restaurant. You'll want to find it out. So come next week. We'll see you then. Thanks, everyone, for sharing Rotary friendship and service with me today. We're adjourned.
Seattle Rotary Online is made possible in part by a grant from First Choice Health, working with the Washington Health Information Collaborative to use technology to bring better health care to patients throughout the Pacific Northwest. First Choice Health,